Have you ever spent 3 weeks trying to figure out where to stay for your Walt Disney World vacation? I get it. And I've got you covered. Over the last several years, we've stayed at every single Disney-owned and operated resort at Walt Disney World for family vacations, girls' weekends, work trips, a little bit of everything. And today we're ranking them all. This isn't based on price, number of stars, resort level. This is based on where we would choose to stay again. And before anyone comes for me, my number one doesn't have to be your number one. Let's go. Coming in at number one is Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. And if you followed me or hung out on the blog for any amount of time, this is no surprise. I planned my very first Walt Disney World vacation as a grown-up in 2008 and took the big kids here for their very first stay at the Polynesian. This resort just checks so many boxes for me. The location is incredible. You are centered among the monorail resorts across from Magic Kingdom. You're a boat ride away from the castle. You can walk over to the Ticket and Transportation Center and grab the monorail to Epcot. And of course, you can take the monorail to Magic Kingdom as well. And let's just talk about the views. Looking across the lagoon to see the castle, to see the fireworks, it doesn't get much more Disney than that. And the rooms here are some of my favorite on property, spacious, comfortable, and the theming is almost a little over the top, which to me is the perfect amount if you're at Walt Disney World. Plus the standard rooms here sleep 5, which is not the majority of rooms on property, so for our larger party, it's a definite plus. The Polynesian also features some of the yummiest food on property with 2 table service options. This one, Ohana, also features a character breakfast. The other, Kona, also has some great sushi takeout options. A quick service in Captain Cook's, Dole Whip Central at Pineapple Lanai, and then of course options for some light snacks and drinks by the pool. Of course, all magic comes with a price, and the Polynesian is no different. Literally, it can be one of the more price-prohibitive locations on property. And the location and popularity of the restaurants can make it feel pretty crowded in the evenings especially. But even with those drawbacks, this is still the resort that I compare all other Disney resorts to when I'm planning. It doesn't hurt that my favorite club lounge in the King Kamehameha Club is here at the Polynesian, but there's just something about walking back through that lush tropical landscape with the music in the background and seeing the beautiful Cinderella Castle glowing across the lagoon. It just feels like home. So when the budget allows, or we find a great deal, we will always say aloha talofa to the Polynesian. And it's not just because I'm someone. A very close second is Disney's Beach Club Resort. And again, if location is important to you, this location is pretty hard to beat. The Beach Club is on Crescent Lake, which is just a very short walk from the International Gateway of Epcot, or a slightly longer walk over to Disney's Hollywood Studios. In addition, you also have access to the Skyliner and the Friendship boats. And you can easily hop over to the other resorts around Crescent Lake, which include the Sister Yacht Club, the Swan and Dolphin resorts, as well as the Boardwalk Inn across the lake. The biggest draw here is hands down Stormalong Bay. It's my absolute favorite pool area on property, and if your crew intends to have a pool day, this resort jumps way up the list. I also just love the overall feel at the Beach Club. It's light, it's airy, it just feels like you're on vacation. You've also got the addition of the Beach Club villas here, which are perfect for larger families or friend groups, or if you're just wanting some of the comforts of home while you're at Disney. There are, again, a few caveats here. The Beach Club is one of the more expensive properties, and let me tell you, those long, winding hallways of this sprawling resort are no joke after a park day. And during peak hours, the pool and the restaurants can get extremely crowded. But honestly, those are pretty small in comparison to what you get when you stay at the Beach Club. As we said, the location is fantastic. There are some really fun restaurants. And you've got the addition of the Yacht Club as the sister resort, so you kind of get 2 resorts in one. So if your Disney dreams include Epcot evenings, relaxing resort days, and one of the best pools on property, Beach Club needs to be at the top of your list. And again, for our crew, if we can get a great deal, we are absolutely saying yes to a Beach Club stay. For number 3, let's swim across Crescent Lake to the Boardwalk Inn. Just kidding, don't swim across that lake. So if the Beach Club was a relaxing vacation, the Boardwalk is that super fun neighbor that always has something going on. I adore strolling the boardwalk, grabbing a snack, maybe a cocktail, and watching the live performers in the evenings. It's an energy you really can't find at any of the other resorts. The quick service locations here are fun because they're spread out like a real boardwalk, but that can be inconvenient if everybody wants something different. In general, though, I feel like the boardwalk is really upping its food game. Now, just like over at the Beach Club, those nightly rates at the boardwalk can shock the wallet a bit, and those hallways can feel endless after a day of walking. But if you still like being in the middle of the action even after you've left the parks, the boardwalk is an easy recommendation. And when it comes to our crew, if we're on Crescent Lake and we're not over at the Beach Club, we are most definitely at Boardwalk Inn. Number 4 takes us out to Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, a resort like none other at Walt Disney World. If you've never stayed here before, I'm here to tell you that waking up to giraffe or zebra walking by your balcony is every bit as magical as you think it is. If you're going to stay here, I really do recommend splurging on that Savannah view if it's in the budget. While there are plenty of places to view the animals out in the common areas, there's just something chef's kiss about being able to wake up or go to sleep to the views of animals outside your window. You'll also want to spend time in the lobby. It is stunning, and I adore all of the cultural details and activities that take place here in the lobby at Jambo House as well as in Kidani Village. You truly do feel like you're exploring somewhere outside of Walt Disney World. There is one downside for me out here at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and that is location. Aside from Animal Kingdom, it can feel a little bit removed from the rest of Walt Disney World. And in addition to that, the only transportation option is bus. So when we stay here, I do prefer to have our own vehicle. Of course, if you're not driving or you don't want to rent a car, there is rideshare. However, this is one of the more affordable deluxe options. If you've wanted to try deluxe but didn't want to pay those monorail loop prices, this is a great choice. It's lower priced at rack rate, but also there are almost always promotional rooms here. And I would also be remiss if I didn't mention the amazing dining here. There is not a bad choice in the bunch. Quick service, table service, Jambo House, Kidani. It's all great. You cannot go wrong. We often come out here for at least one meal, even when we're not staying here. And even though, like I mentioned, it's a little out of the way. If you're looking for convenience, this probably is not my first recommendation on Disney World resorts. But if you're looking for an absolutely unforgettable Disney resort experience, Animal Kingdom Lodge definitely delivers. And who knows, you might run into us here, especially if we found one of those promo rooms. Rounding out the top 5 is Disney's Art of Animation Resort, and if you're traveling with little ones, this is hard to beat. The theming here is incredible. Everywhere you look, there are giant character icons, adorable photo opportunities, and little details that make it feel like you have stepped right into your favorite Disney movies. For little ones especially, the magic starts the minute you check in. The family suites here are one of my favorite accommodations for bigger groups. Not only do you have the added space and a little kitchenette, but you've got 2 full bathrooms. If you've got a big family, I don't have to tell you how much of a game changer that is. Especially if you have a lot of people with long hair in your crew like we do. And while that little kitchenette does save you a little bit on your food cost, remember that you have one of the yummiest food courts on property at Landscape of Flavors. Plus, you've got Skyliner access, which is a great perk for a value resort. Now, because it's so popular, it can definitely feel busy. The common areas do stay pretty lively, and it is a fairly large resort, so depending on where you are, you could be walking a bit. But if you're looking for a resort that makes the kidlets say wow, Art of Animation might be it. It's fun, colorful, and has that larger-than-life Disney magic that most families are hoping for when they visit Walt Disney World. And if we're traveling with a bigger party, we might be neighbors. Taking the number 6 spot is Disney's Yacht Club Resort. The Yacht Club is the more sophisticated sister to the Beach Club. And while the sisters share many of the same perks, the vibe is totally different. You still get that Crescent Lake location with easy access to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, and of course, Stormalong Bay. But where the Beach Club is the bright, airy, coastal family beach vacation, the Yacht Club will have you feeling more grown-up and upscale. The rooms are comfy, but a bit more elegant, and the resort as a whole is a great option for families who want the deluxe feel without the bigger resort energy. The Yacht Club is also home to the marina, where you can get a fireworks cruise or other boat rentals. And while the Yacht Club is beautiful, its sister's charm nudges it just a little lower on the list. Lucky number 7 is Port Orleans Resort French Quarter. She is the much smaller sister to Port Orleans Riverside, and that makes a difference. You're not walking forever to get to your room, the bus stop is simple, and everything just feels big, easy. Sorry, had to. The New Orleans theme is absolutely charming, but I'll go out on a limb and say the biggest pull here, beignets. Just look at this line. Of course, there's also the gorgeous ride to Disney Springs, and if you're wanting more food or recreation options, you can easily go over to Big Sister Riverside. So why isn't it higher? Truthfully, it's still a moderate. We don't have that great deluxe location, and the transportation is a bit limited. But if you're looking for a beautiful, cozy resort packed with charm, French Quarter is a great option.
The drop off for returning?
Oh, it's about time. Well,
Let's go.
In at number 8 is the beautiful Wilderness Lodge. One of my absolute favorite things about this resort is how peaceful it feels. Coming back here after a long park day is like a deep breath of fresh air. In addition to being Samoan, I'm also a member of the Delaware Nation and Kiowa tribe and appreciate the nods to native art and culture throughout the resort. And anytime I can avoid a bus, I'm down. Wilderness Lodge offers a boat to Magic Kingdom, and as a landlocked girly, that is one of my favorite modes of transportation. Additionally, the views from both the boat ride and the resort in general are just spectacular. So why isn't it higher for me? Mostly it's transportation. While that boat launch is gorgeous, the other 3 parks, you're stuck on a bus. And if you're a little more budget conscious, you don't find promotional rooms here quite as often as you do over at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So this can be a bit price prohibitive as well. That said, you also have some very solid dining options here at Wilderness Lodge, both quick service and table service. And the Christmas vibes here are top tier. So if you love nature, that cozy lodge vibe, and a resort that truly does feel like an escape, Wilderness Lodge is absolutely worth considering. It's got a big fan base for a reason, including my grandparents, who are responsible for my Disney traveler gene. Coming in at number 9 is Disney's Contemporary Resort and Bay Lake Tower. Before you start writing a mean comment, hear me out. This resort definitely does have its perks, but there are a few reasons it's not higher. My main deal, the theming. I do get the nostalgia points, and it is a very cool resort, architecturally speaking. But prior to the Incredibles makeover, the rooms to me were so boring. And a lot of the exterior, like the pool and the common areas, seemed to me like something you could find anywhere, not uniquely Disney. And again, we find here some of the highest prices on property, although I will say that the contemporary rooms are discounted fairly often. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about a few things that sway me in the other direction. The main reason we will stay here is the views. Not much better views of Magic Kingdom and the fireworks than you can get at the Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower. And along with those great views is proximity. There is a wonderfully short walk to the Magic Kingdom. You've also got some heavy hitters here for dining with Chef Mickey's The Quintessential Character Meal Experience, as well as Steakhouse 71 and Cali Grill. And really, this is the dream resort for families with young kiddos who are going to spend a lot of time in Magic Kingdom. Not only is it wildly easy to get to the park, but you're going to need that mid-afternoon break with little guys, and it's so simple just to walk back or hop the monorail and be down for nap time within 20 minutes. Convenience is definitely the Contemporary superpower, and that is one of the reasons that despite it not being our favorite, we will stay there, especially if we can snag a discount. Finishing up our top 10 is Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Fort Wilderness is unlike any other place at Walt Disney World. With campgrounds, cabins, towering trees, plenty of wildlife, and lots of recreation, it's a great place to have a vacation within your vacation. With all that going for it, why is it number 10? It's not the most convenient option. Because each campsite or cabin is its own space, everything is very spread out, and it's really best if you have your own car or golf cart. And honestly, if you're planning on doing a lot of the things offered on Fort Wilderness property, a golf cart is your best bet. There's not a lot of parking for regular-sized vehicles outside of at your own cabin or campsite. And if you don't have your own transportation, you're at the mercy of the internal bus system, which unfortunately is a bit time-consuming and can be confusing if you're not familiar with it. And once you've caught that, then you still are at the mercy of another bus or boat to your theme park. That said, the cabins do provide a lot of extra space at what can be a moderate price point, so that's a pretty big draw for us. And while I'm not necessarily a camper kind of girl, I do love driving around and seeing all the holiday decorations at the campsites and even some of the cabins. So if your idea of a Disney vacation includes campfires, nature, and a break from the crowds, Fort Wilderness offers an experience you can't find anywhere else on Disney World property. Coming in at number 11 is the Caribbean Beach Resort. If you're looking for a tropical escape without deluxe prices, this is a pretty solid choice. With its colorful villages, white sand beaches, and laid-back vibes, you feel like you're on vacation before you even step foot into the parks. This resort's biggest flex is that it's the home of the Skyliner Hub. From here, you can get to Hollywood Studios, to Epcot, or Art of Animation and Pop Century resorts. But the resort is so huge that depending on where you end up, you may not even be anywhere near the Skyliner. And while you're pretty energized in the morning, a mid-afternoon break, or at the end of a park day, the trek can be pretty brutal. However, if Skyliner access, a laid-back atmosphere, and great theming at a moderate price tag are on your list, Caribbean Beach is an easy recommendation. And don't forget to stop in at Sebastian's. Grabbing number 12 is Coronado Springs. This resort has had one of the best glow-ups of any Disney property. With its beautiful grounds, the addition of Grand Destino Tower, and a club lounge, Coronado definitely feels more upscale than you'd expect from a moderate. Coronado is also a big conference resort, so with the clientele tilting a little older, you do get a lot more variety in terms of lounges, table service restaurants, although I personally wouldn't say any of them are standout. Again, due to that demographic, I feel like this resort is a little calmer than the others, making it a nice option for a couple's trip, a friend's weekend, an adult-only getaway, and the mellow rooms do help with that vibe. And here's a fun fact, during the pandemic, Grand Destino Tower actually housed several of the basketball staff, so you may be staying in the same room as one of your favorite NBA players. A few things to keep in mind if you do choose Coronado Springs. It is a very expansive resort, which means lots of walking and an internal bus route, which means you make several stops more than likely before you even leave the property to get to your destination. And on top of that, buses are the only transportation option here. But if you're looking for a deluxe feel without a deluxe price tag, Coronado could be for you. And you may even run into us up at the Kronos Club. Clinching lucky number 13 is the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa. And yes, I realize this is falling a lot lower than most people would imagine. And it may or may not be because I'm bitter that this beautiful gingerbread house we've made so many memories around will be no more. But there is a lot to love about the Grand Floridian. It is absolutely beautiful, and the location can't be beat with both a walking path and the monorail. Oh, and the boat over to Magic Kingdom. It's got that classic Disney luxury without feeling too stuffy. And there's something so magical about walking into that lobby and imagining Uncle Jesse at the piano. That said, the common areas can get pretty crowded pretty fast. That gorgeous lobby is an attraction in itself and fills up, especially around mealtimes. And just a personal note, I don't love that the gift shops are separated into different stores and scattered throughout the lobby on both floors. I like to get my shop on in one spot. And of course, as the flagship resort, you've got some of the highest rates on property. And if the total is comparable, I'm leaning over to the Polynesian. But if Disney elegance is your style, you really can't go wrong at the Grand Floridian. And while we may not be your neighbors, you will absolutely spot us at 1900 Park Fair. That strawberry soup absolutely has us coming back multiple times. Coming in at 14 is Old Key West. This was actually our very last stop on our quest to stay at all of the Disney-owned and operated resorts at Walt Disney World. And it's kind of fitting because Old Key West does kind of march to the beat of its own drum. I was always hesitant to book at Old Key West because, as we know, I love that over-the-top theming and location. But really, once we took the dive, I found myself loving it. And the villas were perfect to spread out and truly relax on our downtime. Plus, after walking those long winding halls at some of the other resorts, it's definitely an underrated perk to be able to park right in front of your room. The whole resort has a great laid-back vibe. The pools are super fun, even the quiet pools. And the boat over to Disney Springs is a nice plus. So why 14? Well, it's a lot of bus hopping. It's a lot of walking if you don't have your own vehicle. And I know I said I liked parking in front of my room, but without walking through the main lobby, I feel a little bit disconnected. And aside from Disney Springs, you're bus bound everywhere else. And I think you might have figured out by now, I don't love a bus. All that said, this resort actually has a really active Facebook community, and you can kind of feel that connection once you're actually there. In fact, we did end up booking a second stay here when traveling with extended family. And if you also need that space, want some extra comfort, and a slower pace, let's grab you one of the many discounted rooms here at Old Key West. This resort is the perfect example of Disney knowing who they're building their resort for. If you have a sports-loving kid, you're traveling with a team, or you're looking for a way to stay on a budget, this resort is a home run. The giant theming is super fun, the details are awesome. And if you're not looking to spend a whole lot of time at the resort, the rooms are adequate. That said, they are among the smallest on property and not the most comfortable. My youngest son adores this resort, and one of his favorite things to do here is pick up football games with other guests. So when we are doing resort time, we're not typically in the room. It's definitely more set up for sleep and shower and not so much relax. Just like the other all-star resorts, the pool areas are pretty basic. You won't find a hot tub, slides, splash pads, but it's still a nice place for a quick dip. Food courts are going to be your jam here, and then it's bus service everywhere. But if you'd rather spend your money in the parks or on souvenirs and not necessarily on the resort, All-Star Sports gets you on property at some of the lowest rates. And we have found some of the absolute sweetest cast members here at the All-Stars. At Suite 16, we have the Riviera, And while this isn't my top choice, it does hold a special place in my heart as our agency was invited to opening day, and it was so much fun to be among the first people to stay at the Riviera. This Disney Vacation Club resort is beautiful. The European-inspired design, the little Disney touches, it truly is one of the prettiest resorts. It also has a great perk with access to the Skyliner and some of my favorite restaurants on property. Both the quick service and table service here are delicious. Plus, the rooftop restaurant Topolino's Terrace has a really fun character breakfast. But we're sitting at 16 because while I love the polished, elegant feel of the Riviera, it just doesn't have that immersive, I'm at Disney World feel that I love. Also, for these deluxe prices, it's a little far out from the parks for me. And even though it's not one of my personal favorites, if you love a little understated Disney elegance, this resort may just have that certain je ne sais quoi you're looking for. This ranking's probably going to get me in hot water too, but number 17 is Port Orleans Riverside. This is the bigger, busier, more expansive sister to French Quarter. And while both girls share that sweet southern charm, the vibe is very different. Riverside is much larger with two distinctly different sections, the more rustic Alligator Bayou and the charming Magnolia Bend, with both sections connected by the beautiful Sassagoula River, which, as you might remember, does offer passage to Disney Springs. Riverside also has the best options when it comes to recreation at a moderate resort. Everything from boat and bike rental to swimming, campfire, fishing, to nighttime carriage rides along the river. There is no shortage of activities for your down day. However, these beautiful winding paths also mean longer walks back to your room, to the main pool, to the boat dock, or the food court. And speaking of the food court, for some reason, this one just doesn't do it for me. But Riverside is beautiful and has a very loyal fan base. But if we're choosing between the two sisters, you'll find us at French Quarter. Number 18 brings us to Saratoga Springs, and it has been a minute since we've stayed here, which you will see by the ancient bedspreads and gigantic TVs in the photos. I am gonna say that the upstate New York horse racing theme never really excited me. But much like Old Key West, the rooms are comfy, the grounds are nice, and there are some great options for larger groups, especially the treehouse villas. They're really the standout here, I think. But the biggest perk here is the location. You are right next door to Disney Springs and all it has to offer, which is great because I'm not a huge fan of the dining over at Saratoga Springs either. But a short boat ride or walk away, and you've got a plethora of culinary options, as well as plenty of shopping. And while I do think we owe Saratoga another visit, right now she's settled comfortably at number 18. But if you're a foodie shopper who loves Disney Springs and enjoys a lot of space in your rooms, give her a call. I'm already hiding. This is the hottest take of this entire ranking, but Pop at number 19. I know she's got a lot of fans and y'all ride hard for her. I'm just not one of them. And that actually kind of surprises me because I am so into like retro decades days. Like this is my vibe, but Pop just doesn't do it for me. But truly, after Art of Animation, this is the most popular value that I book. And I will admit I haven't been here in a minute, which you can probably tell by the visuals. And my middle kiddos have never stayed here, so we do owe her another try. Because truly, side by side to the All-Stars, she absolutely should rank higher. We've got the Skyliner access, we're not sharing buses, people rave about the food court, but I just don't see the hype, guys. That said, I will continue to book this place for you as long as you want me to. We're probably just not going to get adjoining rooms. Are we still friends? Number 20 takes us back to the All-Stars, this time movies. We've already looked over a few of the basics of all the All-Star resorts when we talked about sports. We're looking at kind of average food court, all bus transportation, and smaller rooms. Now, typically I do rate movies a little bit higher for my guests, because you've got all of the recognizable characters. Sports just ranked higher personally because of my son. If you don't need the space over at Art of Animation, this is your stop because this has more than likely some of your kids' favorite characters, including Toy Story. My middles absolutely adored our stay here, and while I had a lot of fun as well, I kind of tolerated the comfort level. That said, just like over at sports, if you're just here to sleep and shower, the All-Stars absolutely check those boxes. And there really is something to be said for all the bright colors when you're vacationing at Walt Disney World. Finishing out our list at 21 is All-Star Music, and let me tell you, there is no shame in her game because there are some deep cuts over here at the Broadway Hotel. If you're a theater kid like me or there's one in your group, stay here. The pros and cons of all the All-Stars are fairly identical. The only reason this one ranked the lowest of the three is because, as far as kids go, there are not as many recognizable icons. However, it's worth noting that music does offer family suites if the ones over at Art of Animation are a little out of the budget. So if you're a musician or a theater geek and your trip is going to be more park than pamper, go jam out at All-Star Music. So, did I nail this ranking, or are you already typing out an angry comment? I've got a more detailed version of this ranking on the blog, as well as a host of other tips and tricks. And of course, we're happy to help as vacation planners at no cost to you. And honestly, helping match families to the right resort is one of my favorite parts of the process. So if you enjoyed this video, we'd love to have you stick around, subscribe for more Disney tips, resort reviews, and lots of magical fun. We'll see you in the next one.